What up, people? It's me, L Teddy 27, Angry Teacher Chronicles, and we are back today for another episode of Queen Sugar. This is season 4, episode 12. Alrighty, so we start off at Ralph Angel's house, and him and Blue are going through, usual stuff. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Ooh. Lord, that was a good one. Him and he and Blue are going through the things that fathers and son go through in the morning, getting things together. So they're always not always. Nova, I think Nova called or texted or something like that. Anyway, Nova became a topic of conversation, and Blue spoke to Ralph Angel about missing Nova and how he missed Auntie Nova. And so Nova comes to visit. And Ralph Angel stops her outside. And he's not here for her. Listen, we ain't here for none of this reconciliation and none of this good stuff you trying to do. We ain't here for none of that. So he kind of stops her at the pass. And I'm sure Blue could see. Was Blue on the porch? I don't remember. I don't remember if Blue was on the porch or if he was, even if he wasn't on the porch, I'm sure he was probably watching through the window. But Ralph Angel ain't trying to have no parts and no second chances with Nova. So then we see Charlie at home, and she's preparing and making decorations because they're going to have this celebration for Micah, him being accepted into Harvard and graduation and all of this good stuff. And so they're going to have this big, party celebration with the family for Micah, which is, a good thing. It's a good thing. So Nova then is at home, and she's doing research on old world energy, and she's calling her contacts and her connects that can go and get some research and stuff done for her in order to help out Charlie in her campaign and so forth. Aunt Vi comes over, and Aunt Vi wants Jimmy Dale's address. She doesn't have Jimmy Dale's current address. She knows Nova has it because Nova apparently went over there to go talk to Jimmy Dale. She wants to return. She has that box. And we saw this box a few episodes ago. And she wants to take that box where she is holding on to all of her memories and keepsakes from Jimmy Dale and that part of her life. It's all in this little box. And she wants to just go give it to him. And it's symbolic and metaphoric for her divesting herself of all of the baggage that comes with Jimmy Dale. Because she knows she has to get rid of it if she's going to move forward for herself. And certainly for the relationship that she has with her husband, Hollywood. So Nova said, listen, you want me to give you the address? Well, I'm going to have to go with you. And she was like, I ain't got to do nothing for you. There was this back and forth. Inevitably, Aunt Vi acquiesces and, ends up letting Nova drive her over to Jimmy Dale. And you can tell, as hard as Aunt Vi tries to be, you knew she was going to eventually reconcile with Nova. I mean, that's her niece. She loves her. Even remember when she was praying for the family and she said, God, I know I'm mad with her, but still bless her. She loves her. She's still there for, she still has Nova in her heart. So, Nova drives Aunt Vi over to Jimmy Dale's house. Next, we have Charlie at her campaign headquarters. And Mr. Prosper starts to talk to her about how he's been removed. He's been purged from the rolls for the election. And so has several other people of color, hundreds literally people of color around the county the week of the election. Which we know is, election tampering and voter tampering, all of that, lingo and language, all of that, all of the above. Frances Boudreaux comes over, and she's always here for the shits. Frances Boudreaux is always here for it. And she, they have their back and forth. And meanwhile, because Frances Boudreaux wanted to know, well, what did you say to my son? How did you get him to go on camera and do all of this? And so after their little tiff that they had between each other, the police conveniently roll up as Francis is about to leave. And so they come to question Nova about the arson. And you can see from their line of questioning that they're accusatory. The questions are accusatory. And they are basically trying to put the blame on her. And you know, Charlie's a smart cookie. So she's like, no, we're not going to have any more. There's going to be no more me talking to you without my lawyer. And she, you know, sends them away. So then you see Vi and Nova. They are driving to Jimmy Dale's house. Vi had this conversation with Nova. And Vida literally counted the number of pages. Baby, Vi had time. Vi said, listen, I counted, and there are more pages where you talking about my bad stuff than there are pages of you talking about how I got beyond it or how I made it through. She done counted the pages. And she kept saying, she started off by saying, you told the wrong story. And she was like, if you're going to tell my story, talk about how I have triumphed. Talk about how I got past this. Don't spend most of the majority of the time focusing on the negative parts. You told the wrong story. So then we're at Ralph Angel's house, and Darla finally is interacting with her freaking son. Oh gosh, she's a whole ass whore. Oh, I can't stand Darla anymore. And I really like Darla, but I just want no parts of her anymore. Oh, I'm so over Darla now. So finally, after all of these weeks, she's actually interacting with her freaking son. It's so freaking ridiculous. Anyway, so she goes inside and her and Ralph Angel start to talk. And she kind of starts to talk to Ralph Angel about how he does need to have interaction with Nova. And he's going to have to find a way to talk with her and have a relationship and try to do having some kind of relationship with Nova. And I think that Darla was probably the only one that could talk to Ralph Angel about trying to do that. I don't even think at this point Aunt Vi could talk Ralph Angel into trying to mend fences with Nova. So then you got Vi and Nova at Jimmy Dale's house, and you know, there's this Mexican standoff, this big confrontation, and Jimmy Dale is being Jimmy Dale, you know, the usual. He's being an idiot and an asshole. And anyway, Vi gives it to him. She gives him the box. She gives it all to him. And then as she's walking away, he slams the box to the ground and breaks it to pieces. And I saw that, and Vi, you can tell right after he did that, it's like she got this second wind. It's like she found her strength and her courage. And the symbolism of breaking that box was breaking the hold and the bonds that Jimmy Dale had over her. And you saw this release, and she was here for it after that. She told him off, all the way off. And it was so refreshing to see her go through that. And so as her and Nova were about to leave, this young chick comes up. She has like band-aid on her forehead, looking like she had been abused, and she's holding a bag of groceries, and she's coming to the house. And Jimmy Dale tries to tell her to come in the house, and Aunt Vi knows. She sees the same signs in the young lady as she remembered about herself, and she told the young lady, you don't have to go. I'm here for you. I can help her. And so Aunt Vi gave this woman an exit strategy, and the woman took it. And she went with Aunt Vi. Aunt Vi took her to a battered woman, or a shelter for abused and battered women. And she talked to the people there and told them, listen, take care of her. If she tries to go back to him, call me immediately. She told the girl, listen, if anything goes wrong, if you need anything, you come and call me. If you need a job, I got a job for you at my diner, so forth and so on. So she sees part of herself in that young lady, and she's here for trying to help that young lady before she ends up like Vi ended up. And she gave the young lady a lot of good advice and wise counsel. And so I'm so glad to see that that young lady went with her. So then we got Micah and Kiki. They're at this art exhibit. And Micah goes and talks to Kiki about really wanting to pursue photography. That's what he wants to do. And what I took from this was there was this conversation they were having about long-term relationships, because at that point Micah's going off to Harvard. She's going to still be in Louisiana at Tulane, and they were talking about long-term relationships. And I wrote in my notes, they are delusional if they think that a long-term relationship for a college student is going to work. First of all, we could be on the same campus and dating, and that probably won't work, because college students are whores. Whores. College, you are drinking, going to class, and fucking every day, and using drugs. Drinking, going to class, using drugs, fucking every day, all day. And you don't want to keep having sex with the same person, which is why I don't think anybody in their right mind should be in a committed long-term relationship in college. And y'all gonna tell me I'm wrong. We can get in the comment section and argue about it. But I do think that any human being needs that time to self-assess and really figure themselves out, because college is a time for exploration and figuring out who you are and what makes you tick, and finding yourself, even with regard to your sex life and love life. So then we got Aunt Vi. She's at the diner. Darla comes by, and Darla thanks Aunt Vi. And Darla gives this gift to Aunt Vi. And this was Aunt Vi and Darla really mending fences and with clear heads, because when the situation with the relapse happened, it was like a threat level red DEFCON 5 situation where it wasn't time to really mend fences. That was time to move into action and really help save Darla's life. So genuine or not genuine, you're in life-saving mode. So now that everybody's cooled down, everybody's clear thinking, everybody's had a couple weeks to, get it together, this is true mending of fences and reconciliation, and them, getting to a point where they can be nice to each other. So next we have we're back at the campaign headquarters. Charlie starts to talk to her team about everything that's about to happen. The fact that the Landrys and the Boudreaux, they're going to be coming after them. About the fact that they got the fight of their lives ahead of them. All about how they, tried to purge the rolls, how they move polling stations. They're going to have to actually, work much harder than they perhaps thought. And she gives them the honest truth about what they are about to face. So then at Vi's house, Nova is there, and Vi talks to Nova about ridding herself of the box, and what that meant to her. And then we see this moment where they just have a moment where here it is again, Vi is mending fences with another person. In this case is Nova, and there's this reconciliation that is happening between those two, and that's good to see. Although she better than me, because I would have been like Ralph Angel. We ain't giving no second chances. The Capricorn in me, girl, please. Once I turn the page on you, we might be cordial, but we ain't mending fences like that. We ain't getting back in good graces like that. Okay, so then we're at Charlie's house, and Nova and Charlie are discussing all of the latest intel with the old world energy and the campaign and everything that's going on. And they're getting caught up to speed with each other on what each one of them is finding out about everything surrounding the campaign and old world energy and all of the intel and recon that they've been doing. Finally, we're at the celebration for Micah. Ralph Angel comes, and Blue tries to sit next to Nova. Ralph Angel was like, don't go over there. And he tries to take Blue in the other room, takes Blue in the other room. And Blue has to talk sense into Ralph Angel now. And Ralph Angel, while he may not be ready to mend fences with Nova himself, he, at least once again, you had another person who was willing to acquiesce from what their own personal feelings is. So Ralph Angel decides to acquiesce and say, you know what? Blue ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm going to let Blue interact with Nova. And he did. So that was good. Micah, I'm sorry. Charlie gives Micah this gift, this Rolex watch. She's congratulating him on coming on all of his accomplishments. Micah then gets up and tells Charlie, I ain't going to Harvard. I already called them this morning and told them that I was rescinding my acceptance letter. I will be enrolling at Xavier in New Orleans. And he tries to, and I really think he tried to appease her because he knows his mom, and said, oh, I did this because of you, and I want to be this person that is, you know, fighting for my community and my people, and be this revolutionary, this, that, and the third. And Charlie, y'all know, Charlie ain't buying it. Charlie is livid. She is livid, and everybody else is happy and happy for him. But I was with Charlie on this, and I know a lot of people may disagree with me on this. I was with Charlie on this. You can say what you want to say. You can do all that you want to do. But at the end of the day, credentials matter. At the end of the day, there are certain things that if you can check that box, it's going to allow you to even do more of what Micah was talking about. Think about even some of the people back in the civil rights era. Martin King was great as a reverend, but Martin King was looked at much greater because he was Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Make no bones about it. It was being able to check the box. It was being able to be allowed in the room. You cannot have a fight if you're not allowed in the room where the fight is taking place. And so I understood Charlie wholeheartedly, because Charlie knows in order to have certain influence and in order to have impact sometimes, it's not about going with what's easy about the status quo, and sometimes it's not about going with what you want. Sometimes you have to do certain things in order to check that box. And Charlie wanted him to be able to say, when he walks into a room, even if he does want to be this, you know, revolutionary, this activist, or whatever he wants to be, no, I'm a Harvard grad. I've been in the same places you people have been. So yes, I am credible. Because if people don't deem your voice credible, and people don't feel like you belong with them, they're not going to listen to you. They are not going to, for lack of a better term, take you seriously. The validity of what you're saying, you know, there won't be any merit behind the validity of what you're saying. So I was with Charlie, and you know, it ended with her saying, how dare you, Micah? And it was like a how dare you. I done went over here and did all of this back and forth, and I done moved heaven and earth to keep you safe, and I done did all of this stuff, and I done put up with the crap from your daddy, put up with moving all the way from California, put up with being embarrassed all over the media, put up with all of the things, the money, the time, and everything that I put into you, and you had a nerve to tell me you're going to do this? No, I was right with Charlie on this. I was like, how dare you, Micah? And I felt her on that. And that was the end of the episode. I really want to see where this is going to go and how this is going to end. Because during that heated back and forth, Charlie immediately looks at Nova like, did you influence him to do this? And Nova's like, nope, not me. Because Nova knew. You playing with fire. Kiki even said, nope, I ain't know either. Everybody's like, nope, I ain't know, because they knew Charlie wanted no parts of what Micah was trying to sell. So I think we have the season finale next week. Really excited to see what unravels with that. And that's all we got this week, people. I hope y'all like. Let's get in the comments. Let's argue about what you saw, what I saw, and all of that in between. I'll see y'all in the comment section. That's it. I'm out. I'll see y'all next week.